I'm gonna show you 3 awesome effects that normally you can't do in GoHighLevel, but we found a way and I'm gonna show you how to do it step by step. Let's get started. So this first effect I'm about to show you, I've never seen it on any GoHighLevel website. So the way it works is if you hover on an element, the other two are gonna hide and blur in the background. And if you hover on the next one, the other one's gonna hide and so on. So the first thing you're gonna do is create the section that you wanna highlight. In this scenario, I have a 3-column row. So this one right here. And I've created these cards very quickly. This is just a button, some text down here, and then just a background on the column. So the first step would be to build your own section of the 3 things that you wanna highlight. In this scenario, I just created like a quick one for like a travel agency if somebody wanted to book a trip to Japan, China, South Korea, just as an example. But it could be anything as long as you have your rows side by side and you want to highlight them when you hover and hide the other ones. So once you have your section built out, now you just have to add a bit of code and I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you already have our Notion doc, we've added this tutorial already. Just go to tutorial 2.8 and it's going to be how to add a focused blur effect on hover. So step number 1 is going to be to tag the cards, and the cards are just going to be the rows right here. So if I click here on the pink element, I'm going to go to advanced and I'm going to tag this section. There we go. And I'm just going to hit enter. That's the tag. Now the second tag that I'm going to have to do is going to be on the section as a whole. So the thing holding the cards, the blue section, and this one's just going to be blur-effect-container. So make sure you're clicking your 3-column row, the blue section, and then go to advanced and then just enter the custom class, hit enter, and that's it. Now I'm going to hit save. And then the next step is going to be adding the custom CSS to the website. So you just have to copy paste this code and we're going to go back to website. I'm going to go to the custom CSS and I'm going to paste it. And once I hit save, now you can see that the effect works. There we go. It looks awesome and you can add this to many different sections. This was just an idea that I had for like a travel company, but you could implement this with many sections in GoHighLevel and it's going to look awesome. So I was looking for books and I came across this website that has books and the way they displayed it was really cool. So I recreated this section for you. But if I scroll down, you'll see it right away, which is this carousel that has all the books they're cycling through and it's just rotating at opposite directions of each other. So the first thing we have to do is create that banner with all the books and tag them and add some code. So step 1 is going to be add a row. It's going to be 1 column and then 1 element. So the element is going to be an image. Now the first thing I want to do is remove the padding everywhere, just so it looks clean with the effect, and I'm going to remove this on the element as well. So everything is going to be 0 as you see right here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this purple column, so the first column. I'm going to go here and where it says content alignment is going to be horizontal. The reason why is you'll notice if I duplicate this photo, it's going to line them up side by side. So that's going to be very important for the effect to work. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to advanced and I'm going to add a bit of shadow. So I'm going to add a box shadow and I think this is going to look clean with the books, but you don't have to at this step if you don't want to. Just depends on what kind of elements you're adding. And so that's just going to be the shadow effect. You kind of see it here now showing up. You might be able to see it better once I add a photo. So I'm going to change this. I already saved all the photos. One key thing with this effect is make sure that all the photos that you're adding are the same size. If they're different sizes, the effect is not going to look the same. So I've already added my photos, which are the books, and you'll notice like there's slightly background effect that I just added. You don't have to, but I think it looks better. And so now we have our first element. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tag this photo and I'm going to go to advanced and I'm going to tag it right here. And what I'm going to call it is image logo 1. Enter. I'm going to hit save and now we have our first photo / logo, whatever it is that you're doing. The next thing I'm going to do is just duplicate this and we're going to duplicate this a few times because we're going to have many books side by side. Okay, so we've cloned this many times and we have a bunch of books lined up, logos, whatever photos you have, and now I just have to click on it and change them one by one. The good part is I've already downloaded all of these photos, which is awesome. So I just have to click on them and change them one by one. Now let's say you've added your 6 books and the next thing we're going to do is just cycle them through one more time. So outliers is going to go next and then the next one's going to be this one, the intelligent investor. So it's just going to follow the same order just because they're cycling through, and so we want to make sure that we have all of them in the same order. The next one's going to be here, how to win friends, influence people. And one cool part about doing it this way, where you set up the one photo, you do all the settings for that one photo, is that once once you duplicate it, it's gonna keep all the properties of the first one. So if we go to advanced, it has the tag, it has the right box shadow, it has everything already. So you don't have to do this one by one. Whereas if you do it the opposite way, it's just gonna be way more work. So we already have the first section right here, and all we have to do is just duplicate this section right underneath, and then we're just gonna change the photos once again. So I've duplicated, changed all the photos, and this is what it looks like right now. And if you notice, we still have the custom class right here, which is what we need for this effect to work. The next thing I have to do is tag the rows, and that's gonna be important because that's what's gonna guide the direction. So row number 1, we're gonna call it custom row 1, custom row 1. And then row number 2 is going to be the same thing, custom row 2. There we go. And I'm going to hit save one more time. And the final thing that we have to tag is the section. So the green section, you're going to click on it, go to custom class, and we're going to tag that custom section. Now I just have to go back to our Notion doc because here's where we're going to paste that big piece of code into the website. So this is going to be tutorial 3.3b, which is the updated version for this specific tutorial. So scroll down, and where it says the code, you're just going to copy this whole thing of code. But if you don't have our Notion doc, then you're just going to have to copy paste it from the screen right now. So let me just show you the rest of the code. It's a bit of a longer one, but you can just copy paste the code and it's going to work fine. So let's go back to our website, and I'm going to go back to custom CSS, and I'm going to paste this piece of code. And if you'll notice, the custom row 1 is right here, custom row 2 is right here, and then the image logo -1, which are the photos, is right here. So that's why we use those tags, is so that this effect works. So if I hit save, you'll notice instantly that it already works, but I'm going to show you what this looks like in a preview. So if I scroll down, now you can see the effect and it looks awesome. So that's exactly how I built this section in GoHighLevel. And this last effect that I'm about to show you is this one right here, where you have this smooth transition of the background changing in a section. And so I created this quick hero section for a website of something that could be for like a construction type of website where they're building homes, but this could work for any type of website where you have rotating images that are cycling through in the background. So let's jump in on GoHighLevel and let me show you how I built this one right here. Okay, so now we're back in the editor, and this is what the website that I built looks like. It's kind of hard to read, but you see the text is right there. The reason why is because we're going to use a bit of code to change the background. But just to show you what it would look like, if I just change the background color to black, you'll see exactly what the website actually looks like. But we have a navigation menu up here, a button on this side, and then we have a 3-row column with some text on each section. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just remove this background again, and I'm going to go to our Notion doc once again, and I'm going to paste the piece of code that is going to rotate the images. So this is going to be tutorial 1.13. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says the CSS code, and I'm going to copy paste this code. I'm going to paste this right here, and I'm going to hit save. Now at this point the effect is not going to work because we need to add the photos to this piece of code. And so what I'm going to do is just upload the photos very quickly. To do this, I'm just going to add an image here, and I'm going to hit here, upload my 3 photos, which I've already done so. So we have 1, 2, 3. And what I have to do is, instead of adding the photo to the background, I'm just going to copy the link. So if you see these 3 dots right here, you can click here, get link. That's going to copy the link. And if I exit this and I go back to my custom CSS, you'll notice that we have placeholders. So I'm just going to remove the first one right here. And all I have to remove is this right here, and then paste in between the link of the actual photo. So that right there was photo number 1. So now I have to do this with the second photo. So I'm going to go back here, copy link, and I'm going to exit here very quickly, go back to the custom CSS, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to remove this and then paste the second link of the photo, and I'm going to do this one last time with the third one. So now we can delete this right here because we won't need that image anymore. We already have the links that we need. And then the final thing is going to be adding this section to our CSS. So if we take a look at the CSS, you'll notice that it has your section placeholder right here. And so if I click on our full section, the green section, I'm going to go to advanced, and I'm going to find out what is the code for this section. So I'm going to copy this section right here. I'm going to go back to the CSS, scroll down, and where it says your section, I'm going to replace this with our new section, hit save, and that's going to take into effect with our website. One thing to mention about this effect is that the size of the photos that you're uploading has to be the same size for all 3 of them. Otherwise, the effect is gonna look weird. And so what you can do is either export them from Photoshop, make sure they're all the same file size, or when you're finding them online, make sure they have the same dimensions. Now, if I take a look at the actual preview, this looks awesome. You see that they're cycling through every few seconds, and it just adds to the hero section of this website. But there it is. That's 3 ways of taking your GoHighLevel websites to the next level using a bit of code. And if you want to get our Notion doc with 30 plus tutorials on how to add custom effects just like this one to your GoHighLevel websites, just click the first link in bio. And if you just want to buy one of our templates that are ready to go, check the second link in bio.